Hello again. So let's talk about some shorthand property code for CSS margin. CSS margin has several shorthand property codes like this. Okay, margin top, margin right, margin bottom. Okay, and this is like you are specifically defining a different style for each margin. Okay, this method is quicker. It also uses less code than the previous methods that you saw. Actually, it's the same property that we used in our first example. For example, the margin property that we used. The only difference is that we apply multiple values against it. Okay, so let's look at this example here. Okay, I'll just write here shorthand property example. Okay, and let's get started. Let's write div style style is equal to border 1 pixel. Border is 1 pixel and it is solid. Okay, border 1 pixel and solid blue. Width is 150 pixels. Okay, now that's something. Let me show you what we're doing here. Okay, and close the inverted commas. There was a syntax error. Okay, I just fixed it. So what I'm doing is I'm creating within this division, I'm creating a border like this, blue border, which defines the division. Okay, and it is solid 1 pixel and width is 150 pixels. Okay, and close the division tag with inverted commas closed and hit enter and start with the paragraph tag. P style is equal to border 1 pixel, solid orange, margin 20 pixels and 5 pixels, check it out, and 1 pixel and 20 pixels. You are defining a rectangle here, okay, with all of these dimensions. Okay, pixels. Okay, so we have 20 pixels, 5 pixel, 1 pixel and 20 pixels again. Let's close it with semicolon and close the inverted commas, close the back bracket, and then say this text has a different sized margin on each side. Okay, it is nested within a div with a border to make it easier to see the effect of the margin. Okay, period, and close the paragraph tag. Okay, close the division tag, and I'm just going to run it and see. All right, I don't think I made any errors here, but let me just check. Border 1 pixel, solid orange, and margin is 20 pixels. Margin is 20 pixels, 5 pixels and 1 pixel and 20 pixel again, with no syntax in between. Okay, no punctuation in between. This text has a different size, okay, and division tag. All right, let me check. Save, and now we are expecting, yes, shorthand property example, we are expecting a margin of 1 pixel here. I think this is 1 pixel. 5 pixels, 20 pixels, 20 pixels. Okay, how does that work? So the 20 pixels is the top and the right border of margin, and in the middle is 5 pixel, which is this one, and the 1 pixel, which is the bottom margin. Okay, so this is how you do a shorthand code. So you don't need to provide, but what I'm doing here is you don't need to provide different values for all 4 sides. You can provide 1, 2, 3 or 4 values. Here's how it works. Okay, this is exactly how it works here. You don't have to supply 20 pixels, 5 pixels, 1 pixel, 20 pixel each time. You can easily supply one value. Okay, for example, if you do this margin 10 pixels, what happens when I do this? Let me show you. Control X. Let's do a margin of 10 pixel. Let me just demonstrate what I'm trying to say. Just do 10 pixels, 10 px. Okay, file save. Okay, just like I expected, all 4 margins have a 10 pixel space around them. Okay, and what if you do margin 10 pixels and 20 pixels? What happens? What if you do 10 pixels and do 20 pixels? What happens now? Top and bottom have a margin of 10 pixels. Okay, top, bottom 10 pixels. Okay, right and left will have margin of 20 pixels. Let me show you. Okay, let me do this. Margin 10, 20 pixels. This is what you're seeing. Okay, file save. There you go. Margin 10 and 20 pixels. That's how it is. Okay, top, bottom 10, left, right 20. Okay, and other possibility is you can give 10, 20 and 30. What if you do 10, 20 and 30? What happens? I mean, this is how the code is going to behave when it's run. 10, 20, 30. What happens when you do that? Top is 10 pixels, left and right are 20 pixels, and bottom is 30 pixels. Okay, you just need to practice this to understand. So bottom is the largest margin. Okay, top is 10, right, left 20. The middle one is always the right and left. Okay, and the first one is usually top, and the last one is always bottom. Okay, and for some reason the right and the left margins are read as the same. Okay, just to make it's like an alignment rule that, you know, what do we call this, whenever you cut a picture in half, both halves should be equal in size. Okay, so this is like a rule of aesthetics, that when you look at a picture, both halves should be of the same size. So which is why you do, whenever you add the middle dimension here, the middle width is usually for the right and the left margins. Okay, what if you do 10, 20, 30, 40? What will happen? 40 pixels. What happens? Okay, here's what happens. The top is 10 pixels, the right is 20 pixels, the bottom is 30 pixels, and the left is 40 pixels. That's how it's read, you know. That's how it's done. There you go. Okay, so this is how you do a shorthand property definition for CSS margin. Okay, with this I am done with the CSS margin code, and the CSS margin video is concluded. Now we're going to begin with the CSS padding. Okay, it's similar property, but padding is usually applied on, okay, if this is the distance between the text and whatever boundary it is. This is the margin. What is padding? This is the margin, okay? This much margin between the border of any element or container in which the margin defined element is containing. If this is the margin, what is the padding? We'll find out. Padding is the inner area of the margin between the text. Okay, these things do make a lot of difference. If you do not define them, your text would be all jumbled up, squeezed together. And if you look at the way human beings read a website, a web page, we usually read like this in a diagonal manner, like this. Okay, which means that we read information and then we try to get all the way to the bottom right here. Sometimes these areas are ignored. These areas are ignored on the web page. Okay, keeping the behavior of human beings with the website, how they read, how they scan, how they skim through the pages, you have to design an aesthetically pleasing web page. Okay, you have to have a user experience which is which is appealing to the eye, which does not tire the eye out, which is why we have so many flexibilities in presenting the text within the web page. So this is the whole point of having shorthand code and having so many codes available to modify so many properties with so many values, so that your web page you have more power and control over your web page. Because your web page will also be determined, the way the content is displayed will also be determined by your audience, the audience who is experiencing your web pages. Okay, for example, if you have children reading the web page, your web page content will be expressed as well as presented differently. Okay, you will have different font sizes, probably larger, and then you also will have bright colors. Okay, as opposed to if your web page is read by senior citizens, okay, who expect the font to be very bright and stand out against the background, and they don't want something to be, they want a very light background at the same time. They don't like any gaudy colors. So depending on the audience that you are targeting that will read your web page, you need to be able to have enough code so that you are able to modify your page accordingly. Alright, with that, I'm going to wrap up the CSS margin video, and we're going to go ahead with something similar to margin but called padding, and I will show you how it is different. Alright, take care, bye bye.